I always thought the day my kids moved out would be a proud milestone. The kind of moment you smile through tears, knowing you've done your job as a parent. And it was at first. We hugged, shed a few tears, laughed a little, and took some final pictures by the front door with their suitcases. Then we waved goodbye. I walked back inside the house, heart light, feeling okay, until the door closed. That silence wasn't peace. It was emptiness. Strange. Cold. No more footsteps running through the hallway. No more, "Mom, where's my other shoe?" No more dinner table debates about who stole the last slice of pizza. Just me. And silence. Somewhere along the way, I had lost myself. The next morning, I woke up and didn't know what to do. No alarms for school runs. No sports practices to drive to. No homework reminders or late-night snack requests. I walked through the house like a shadow of myself. Opened drawers that still held tiny baby socks and kindergarten artwork. Found old Mother's Day cards scribbled in crayon. "You're the best mom in the world." I had kept every little piece of their lives, but somewhere in the middle of all that, I had misplaced my own. A full-time mom, a part-time woman. For 25 years, I lived and breathed motherhood. I was good at it. I was proud of it, but it became all-consuming, and I never paused to ask, if I'm not a full-time mom anymore, who am I now? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself that? When your purpose, your energy, your identity are all wrapped up in other people, and then suddenly, they don't need you the same way anymore. I became afraid of the quiet. I couldn't remember what I liked to do. Didn't I used to paint? But the last time I held a brush was before my child's first day of school. Didn't I enjoy reading? But who had the time between diapers, dinner, and deadlines? I tried calling old friends. But it turns out, for the past 2 decades, we only ever talked about our kids. Without that, what was left to say? I once had dreams, I think. But they'd been buried so deep beneath schedules and self-sacrifice. I couldn't even name them anymore. And that broke me, realizing I had become so much for everyone else that I had forgotten how to simply be me. One cold morning, I opened an old notebook. It was dusty and used, like a part of me. I stared at the blank page and wrote just one sentence. "Today, I will go for a walk." Just for me. That was the beginning. Tiny steps, but steps nonetheless. The walk was only 15 minutes, but I felt like I had just crossed an ocean. The next day, I made breakfast, not for anyone else, just for me. My favorite eggs. My favorite jazz playlist. I signed up for a beginner's painting class online, rolled out a yoga mat, and fumbled through a tutorial. Picked up a novel I once loved in college. And I wrote, not as mom, not as wife, but simply as me. The silence slowly changed. It wasn't so heavy anymore. It became a space for reflection, a space for breathing, for listening to myself again. I noticed sunlight pooling on the kitchen floor, the smell of coffee in an empty room, the birds outside the window. I laughed again, sometimes out loud, sometimes quietly at my own thoughts. I began to feel proud, not just of my kids, but of myself. I realized I was still a mother, but I was also a woman, a friend, a dreamer, a human being with her own name and story. And for the first time in years, I felt like I was living, not just surviving. To every mother standing in an unfamiliar quiet, if your home has suddenly gone still, if your hands don't quite know what to do anymore, if your heart aches with a strange kind of loneliness, I see you. I am you. And I promise you this. You are not lost. You are still here. And the version of you you've placed on pause all these years, she's still waiting, patiently, to be welcomed back. And now I know. My kids moved out, and I thought I had lost myself. But in truth, I was simply being given a chance to meet myself again. If you'd like, I can help you adapt this blog into a spoken word style video, or even submit it to Medium or a publication like The Moth. Would you be interested in that?